What's poppin', guys? So sorry this video isn't coming out like I know usually when I do these videos it's literally minutes after the game ends, but I worked last night and so I had actually watched the fourth quarter like on my way to work. Well, not on my way to work, but like on my way out the door to work. So there was no way I could have been able to record this, obviously because I was at work. Just got home now, so right after I record this, it's gonna go up on the channel. So yeah, Pittsburgh dropped another game, their second in a row, to Buffalo last night. And man, literally one of the reasons I started making these videos, the first so I call this playlist talking to the camera. And one of the first videos as of lately that I've been doing like this, where I just turn on the camera, get the mic and record, was about how Pittsburgh needs to fire Randy Finkner. I said that after we blew out the Bengals 36-10. And how is it 3 or 4 weeks later, it's gotten worse? It's literally gotten worse. First of all, hats off to the defense. This defense is still performing. You know what? This is probably gonna be controversial, but it really isn't. Pittsburgh's defense, even in its current state, is still the best defense in the NFL. I'm talking the defense that played last night without Joe Hayden, without Bud Dupree, without Robert Spillane, without Vince Williams. Like, all of our corners came in and they did a great job. In the first half, we had a forced fumble, a sack, and 2 interceptions against an MVP caliber Josh Allen. So yes, and you want to know what happened in the second half? Oh, the Bills scored a lot of points in the second. Yeah, because Pittsburgh had like 6 3-and-outs in a row. So it's exactly what happened last year with Pittsburgh. The defense is just getting exhausted because they're not getting a break. And I feel bad because all the defensive players are like, we need to be better. No, you don't. You guys are fine. Like, I can't even imagine how good this defense would be if we had Devin Bush, Dupree, and Joe Hayden on that field. Honestly, it's probably a way different game. And all of our players have been doing really, really good for us. But it comes back to fire Randy Finkner, man. I don't understand how Pittsburgh ownership, Pittsburgh management, or Pittsburgh coaching, or even Tomlin can look at these games. Because I don't blame Tomlin for this. Because Mike Tomlin, for those of you who don't know, is a defensive coach. I know he played wide receiver in college, but he's a defensive-minded coach. Like, that's his main emphasis. And so I don't blame him too much for the offense. He doesn't do the play calling there. It's all Randy Finkner. And I don't get how they can look at these games and be like, yeah, this is the guy we need. You have a Hall of Fame quarterback who usually is like in the top 5 for passing yards in the league, who's currently number 1 in attempts, but not even top 5 in yards. What? And you have a running back who, in his first ever year starting, trying to fill in for Le'Veon Bell, who was sitting out, got, I think, over 1,300 all-purpose yards, receiving and rushing, and I think nearly 20 touchdowns. And he can't even run for 50 yards anymore? I don't blame the O-line. I don't, because we have an elite O-line. We have one of the best O-lines in the game. I do not blame the skill players. The drops, I will blame on the receivers. Deontay, I think benching him for the first half was probably one of the best things Pittsburgh could have done, because it's going to put him in check. Ebron, he's got to stop dropping the ball as well. Juju, honestly, is starting to establish himself again as that number 1 receiver for Pittsburgh, so good for him. And James Washington is showing that if Deontay or anyone else is having issues, they could put him in and he's going to be reliable. But, no, seriously, they're not going to, because no 11-2 team is going to fire their OC. I mean, they've literally clinched up a playoff berth. But it's sad, man, because the offense, honestly, the past 4 weeks has looked like last year's offense. And Ben is having a good season. 29 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. He's on pace to throw the most touchdowns in his career and the fewest interceptions in a season for his touchdown interception ratio. So Ben is having a stellar season, minus like the yards, because he's doing so many dink and dunks. Speaking of dink and dunks, they work. They're good. They are a useful tool that open up the field and open up the deep ball. But it's only useful if you actually throw the deep ball. This is Ben Roethlisberger, one of the greatest arms in the league. He's only known for his deep balls. And we're throwing one a game trying to just get a pass interference. We're not actually trying to get yards off of these. What are we doing? What are we actually doing? And you know what? I mean, one of the cases people can make is, oh, well, who could come in and fill in for Randy Fichtner if they were to fire him? Like, who'd be the interim OC? There's two people in that building that could do it. Matt Canada, who was recently signed on this season to be the quarterback's coach. Ben is having a stellar year. I accredit that to, one, his surgery, so his form has been fixed up a little bit better. And two, Matt Canada, who's coming from a collegiate system and like coaching up Ben, so he has more skills in his arsenal even at 38 years old. So Matt Canada would be a great OC, especially because college system coaches are showing that they're working. Look at Matt Rule. You look at Cliff Kingsbury. Like, they are working in the NFL right now. Or we could go, and this, I've talked about this before, and I still think this is a great idea and Pittsburgh should do it. Josh Dobbs. Dude, he sits there on the sidelines, never gets to dress out for games, and he sits there and designs plays for the 2-minute drills. Ben has openly come out and said that. Why don't you just make him the coordinator? He is literally a rocket scientist. Like, this is literally, rocket science is easier to him than play calling, I'm sure. He's literally that smart. If you're not going to dress him, you're obviously just using him for his play calling because he sits next to Ben almost all the time on the sidelines. Just make him the OC. He's young. He's got a great mind. And he's like, this is the thing that I have with Randy Fichtner. He's predictable and he's not willing to evolve with the game. The game now is not run, pass. That's what the game was for a long time. If you have a stellar run game, then it opens up the pass game. That's still very important. If you look at teams like the Browns or the Vikings, they need to rely on the run game. The nice thing about Pittsburgh is they don't have to rely on the run game, but they need to find a balance. Pittsburgh should have been able to blow out Dallas. Why? Because of the run game, but they didn't. You look at an Arizona team. Arizona was having struggle running the football, and then they finally got that game against Dallas, and all of a sudden their running game and Kenyon Drake kind of woke up. Pittsburgh, you think that would come, but it didn't, because Randy Fichtner has no idea what the fuck he's doing. Literally, there's only one problem with this team is Randy Fichtner. Big Ben threw for, like, you watched that game last night, you're looking like, okay, he's having a pretty good game minus the 2 picks. He had 2 touchdowns. He had 187 yards. 108. That is like a Gardner Minshew level, or like a Baker Mayfield stat line. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 187 yards. And again, I will say that 1 interception on the deep ball was 100% on Ben. Like, he underthrew him a lot. It was actually a really bad looking ball. The other interception, it is what it is. I mean, it was a really bad read by Ben, but it was just a great play by the defensive back. And honestly, that was the turning point of the game right there, was the pick 6. And like, the defense still played really good, even in the second half, for the third quarter for the most part. Like, yeah, I know. Okay, I will say they need to make better adjustments because, hey, okay, Stephon Diggs is burning you. Double team him. Make another person beat you. There was literally no other receiver on that team that could beat you. Also, stop playing zone and don't zone blitz. You either run a man blitz with a single safety, Minka, in the back, or you just do literally a cover 0 blitz and blitz, because the zone is not working for you guys. It's just not. And I think that's just attributed to how tired the defense is. But man, James Conner's a good running back. I don't understand how Randy Fichtner has no idea what the fuck he's doing. I don't know how you can look at this offense. Pittsburgh, so just real quick, I know I'm a Steelers fan. Pittsburgh is not the obviously they're not the best team in the AFC. They're not the second best team in the AFC. I think Buffalo is the second best team in the AFC right now. And honestly, I think there's an argument that Pittsburgh isn't even the third best team in the AFC, because that could possibly be the Titans. If Pittsburgh would play the Titans like tomorrow, I honestly think the Titans would run away with that game because of the injuries Pittsburgh has sustained and because of how ineffective the offense is. Like, seriously, the fact that there are only like 3 drives that are actually productive, which are at the beginning of the fourth quarter when there's no huddle, and at the end of the first half when there's no huddle. Why would that be? Oh, it's because Ben is literally calling the plays. Ben is the person calling these plays and making this up as he goes. And I don't understand how you can look at that and not fire Randy Fichtner. It genuinely boggles my mind. And you know what? Randy Fichtner's not going to be fired next year. So this is literally for no reason, because it's not like anything's going to happen. Pittsburgh, if Ben only has, like, if I have to guess, Ben has 3 years left, because if you look at him, he's not taking hits. He's not getting out of the pocket. And I don't understand Ben right now, because it looks like he's scared to get hit, which like makes sense because he's 38. But at the same time, like, that's what he's built his reputation on. And so I think he needs to get out of the pocket a little bit more to extend the plays. I do like getting the ball out fast. I think that's great because it keeps the defense on their toes. But you can't do that and then run a fucking halfback draw every single run. Literally all the runs for Pittsburgh are either draws or inside zones. Hey, do you know where James Conner has the most success? It's on a stretch play when you bring the guard and they pull to the other side. That's when James Conner has the most success. That's when he has the greatest yards gained on a play. You know how many times we run that in the past 3 weeks? Well, okay, we won't count 3 weeks. We will count 5 weeks because James Conner was out. 4 times. Once with Benny Snell. So James Conner's only getting 3 of those. I just Randy Finkner, it bothers me so much when people like show him on the telecast and they're like, "Oh, Randy Finkner leading this offense to 11-2 record." It's like, no, he's really not. Ben is literally doing this by himself. I still think the defense. I mean, honestly, how many? What was it? It was 9 punts in the first quarter combined between the two teams. Okay, let's say so Pittsburgh got the ball first. They don't go 3 and out. Let's say they at least get a field goal, and then they force a 3 and out for Buffalo. They get the ball back. They get another field goal. If they were to just get a field goal every single time, that's 15 points in the first quarter. Instead of 5 punts, you get 5 field goals, 15 points. They couldn't even drive, and I don't want to hear about the weather because Pittsburgh plays in snow all the time. Some of Ben's biggest games are in the snow. When Pittsburgh played in the AFC Championship a couple of years ago, or in the AFC Divisional a couple years ago, last time we were in the playoffs against Jacksonville, it was snowing and Ben threw for like 501 yards. So the weather was a non-factor. I don't blame the defense, honestly. I think they didn't adjust well to the Stephon Diggs thing, but I mean, honestly, if Pittsburgh's offense was able to put up points, it'd be putting pressure on Baltimore, and Baltimore probably wouldn't, or Stephon Diggs wouldn't have been able to make as many plays as he was. Minka, you gotta get better tackling, though. I will say that. Like, you can't just hit him; you gotta wrap him up and bring him down. We do get Vince Williams back. Avery Williams looked great. I will say that. Okay, one thing with Keith Butler: stop lining linebackers on running backs or slot receivers. It's stupid. It's idiotic. Stop it. We have great. I mean, obviously, when Joe Hayden comes back, Cam Sutton or Mike Hilton are perfect for that. And those two are some of the most underrated corners in the game. They are so good. They showed it off last night. I mean, honestly, if Pittsburgh won that game, Cam Sutton probably gets a game ball, 2 picks, and he was all over the place. And Mike Hilton honestly probably could have too. I mean, he didn't have any picks, but his defensive presence was felt. Pittsburgh also broke the NFL record for most consecutive games with a sack, which is 70. So attribute that to Defensive Player of the Year, T.J. Watt, and should be Coach of the Year, Mike Tomlin. Actually, you know what? No. Mike Tomlin should not be Coach of the Year. I'm going to back off of that because if he was Coach of the Year, he would have made the necessary adjustments, as in firing Randy Finkner or demoting him or something. I just think the Steelers have too much pride in admitting their wrongs, which a lot of teams have that issue. But if Pittsburgh... Anyway, I kind of strayed away from this earlier, but Ben only has like 3 years left. And... you know, he said he wants to win Super Bowls. You want to win 2 bowls? Okay. You need to talk to Colbert and you need to talk to Tomlin about firing Finkner. I don't care that he's been with you your entire time. You know what? If you want to keep on the staff as like the assistant quarterback coach. Have him and Matt Canada switch jobs. I don't know. Finkner is the reason we're having these issues. Do you know when Pittsburgh's offense was the best? Was when Todd Haley was the OC. And it just happened that our defense was complete dog shit in those seasons. And then Todd Haley leaves and all of a sudden our offense falls apart because Randy Finkner gets the job. Coincidence? No, not a coincidence at all. It's so frustrating because, I mean, me who stopped playing football 4 years ago or 5 years ago can look at this team and see what needs to be fixed. So imagine what head coaches that are planning against Pittsburgh can do. Washington was able to do this. I honestly thought that loss to Washington would awaken the run game, and Pittsburgh did run the ball more in this game, but not as much as they needed to. I also thought it was funny that the commentators were calling Benny Snell the power back. I was like, he's not the power back. As if he's the power back, he'd be able to get the 1 yard, the 35 attempts that we had against Washington. James Conner honestly looked good for the game too, running the ball. He did have the fumble, so you gotta fix that. Come on, dude. But he looked pretty good. You're not utilizing. Also, we signed Derek Watt. We signed a great fullback. Why? We don't ever use him. We never use him. You want to know when we do? When we do use him, we get great fucking rushing yards. Or we score on the goal line. In the beginning of the season, James Conner had a rushing touchdown in I think the first 7 games, and a lot of them were goal line rushing touchdowns. Want to know why? Because they had the fullback and the double tight end sub package in there, and you're getting hella blocks. Also, speaking of tight ends, you guys got to get Vance McDonald more involved if Ebron's going to keep dropping these balls. I actually love Ebron. I think he's unlike any tight end Pittsburgh's ever had, because Heath Miller was never really receiving tight end. He was more of a blocking tight end, and Vance kind of evolved into a blocking tight end. So I think Ebron's awesome with his athleticism and his catching ability, but he drops way too many balls. So if he's going to continue doing this, you gotta give Vance more snaps. Deontay, I'm not going to lose faith in him yet. I still think he's the most talented receiver on that team. You guys got to throw to Claypool more. Juju is now the slot receiver, which is great. And like I said, James Washington's nice because if one of those receivers isn't doing good, they can put him in, and he's consistent. So 3 games left. Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Cleveland. Cleveland plays tonight. If Cleveland loses, Pittsburgh does clinch the division, which is huge. But, yeah, I don't see this team being the 2 seed. They're probably going to end up being the 3 seed, which sucks. But, yeah, no, Pittsburgh's defense is great, but the offense is limited and inconsistent. So they need to patch it up, man. They really do. So hopefully they can. I think the Cincinnati game is a game where they need to get out early, like get ahead early. I mean ahead. If Dallas can blow out Cincinnati, then we can do it too. I know we can. Our weapons are honestly possibly better. Not possibly. Our weapons are better than Dallas's right now. So, I mean, they need to get out ahead early, and what they need to do is they need to start trying out new things. Pittsburgh literally has to abandon the playbook because it only has like 5 plays. You got a slant, you got an out and go, you have a halfback draw, you have a halfback slip screen, or you have a inside zone. You ever heard of the single back I formation? Pistol, since you like, I think pistol would honestly be perfect for the Steelers because of how they like to line up Ben in the backfield because he can read the defense better. It's just so uncreative, honestly. I don't understand it. I could use Ask Madden and it would give me better play calls and lead to more success than Randy Finkner is right now. He's not going to get fired, though. I'm going to be going to bed in about 10 minutes after this video is uploaded, so hopefully I have dreams of Pittsburgh doing that. But yeah, no, this is not a high-scoring offense. It wouldn't surprise me if Pittsburgh didn't put up 25 points again for the rest of the season. Pittsburgh should take the game at Indianapolis because, like, I think one of the biggest things that kept Buffalo in this game for the first half was just Josh Allen's mobility, which Philip Rivers does not have. So Pittsburgh's pass rush, I still don't get it, man. All these injuries in Pittsburgh still looks like an elite defense. But yeah, keeping Philip Rivers in the pocket, and he's not mobile, so he's going to be under pressure a lot of the time. Pittsburgh will take advantage of that, and honestly, the Indianapolis defense isn't looking how good it was at the beginning of the season, mainly because their competition is starting to even out the defense. That's the nice thing about Pittsburgh's defense. Even though we've played better competition, they're still playing at the level of the competition. But so yeah, I think Pittsburgh should be able to take the Indianapolis game, and they should take the Cincinnati game. And Cleveland, man, that's crazy. I don't even know what to expect from that game because Nick Chubb comes back. Our rush defense still looks good, but it's not as good as the beginning of the season because of all the injuries and everything, obviously. But yeah, if Pittsburgh wins out, that'd be awesome. 14-2 would be great. I mean, I really don't see the Chiefs losing another game this year. And now that Pittsburgh lost a game within the AFC, we really are kind of put behind. But yeah, good luck to Pittsburgh this year, man. I think they're not going to win the Super Bowl, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they were one and done in the playoffs, which sucks because I don't want to believe that, but that is the reality of the team right now if they don't make changes. So let me know what you guys think. You guys really love these videos. So also, a lot of people just come watch these videos. So hey, if you come watch these videos, maybe subscribe. Also, I'm doing a giveaway for the podcast. So if you're interested in winning a $75 gift card, go check out the Instagram for the podcast, and you can maybe win a $75 gift card. So check that out. Anyways, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna upload this and then go to bed. So go Steelers, and honestly tonight go Ravens, so Pittsburgh can lock up the AFC North. So yeah, still don't know how to end these videos. So